Just saw Captain America 4, and I'm going to tell you, it's exactly what you saw in the trailer. That's right, friends. I am the man you may know as Z from Our Reviews Will Kill You, and I'm here to give you a review on Captain America 4 Brave New World. And I have a bunch of thoughts and things, but I'm not going to spoil anything right away. What I'm going to do is we'll go over a couple different things that are going on, and then we'll talk about whether or not it is worth you catching this movie to make sure I have my notes. Anyway, Captain America Part 4, not the first one starring not Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson. And for those of you who don't know my stance, first of all, I've seen every single Marvel thing ever. I've seen Echo, Miss Marvel, The Marvels, Captain America 1, the original, the first Hulk. I've seen every single Marvel product that has been put out that was not included animating stuff, but including What If. So I have oodles to say about all these things. But let's just focus on Captain America 4. Just wanted to give you my perspective as a longtime Marvel fan, but also a past 4 years Marvel hater on some level, because I definitely hate watched Echo. That's for sure. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not so good either. So there's a lot of stuff I don't like. And that brings me to this movie. What did it do good? I mean, Sam Wilson's fine as Captain America, I guess. I like to say he is a little co-pilot buddy guy that I think we saw in Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I forget his name. Let's just call him Baby Bird. I liked Harrison Ford was fine. I do have some issues with him, though. And Giancarlo Esposito was fine. And there was like one pretty decent action sequence. I didn't think it was directed very well. I thought the directing was pretty mediocre, especially the action sequences were just kind of lame. And there's too many close-ups, especially of Captain America's mouth. I didn't want to go swimming in his face that much. It's a little much. Anthony Mackie, he was fine. It's not. The hard thing with Anthony Mackie is he really a leading man? They keep telling us he's a leading man, and I'm not 100% sure. He's a very good side actor, but as far as a leading man, I just don't know that he can carry it. It's one of the reasons why I didn't watch Twisted Metal, which he starred in. He's okay. He's a fine actor. Just not sure that I can watch him lead something. So let's at first. We'll talk. Let's take a look at the box office just a little bit, real quick, because there's some concerns here. Oops. Let's look at it from this perspective. There we go. How Captain World compares to MCU flops. That's not good, folks. That's not good news. Everybody's touting how it came in at $100 million, but that's not great. I think it's going to end up in a very particular. Pretty much exactly with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And can you remember what happened in that, except for there were some Kangs in it? So the opening weekend technically was only $88 million. Even though they're calling it $100 million, that's because they had an extra day. Actually, almost an extra week from what they were looking at. The Marvels, which is the lowest ever, is $46 million. And the Marvels went on to do $206 million, and nobody watched it worldwide. Like, nobody cared about that movie. This one will do a little bit better than that, for sure. The Eternals, $71 million. Ant-Man and the Wasp made about, I think it made about close to $500 million. I'm going to want to say $450. And then Thor: The Dark World, which many of you probably don't remember, $85 million opening weekend. And Iron Man 2, $128. And a lot of people don't really like Iron Man 2 that much. I think it's fine. It's so funny. We go back and look at the flops like Dark World and Iron Man 2. I'm sure a ton of people would take those instead. It's definitely the worst Captain America movie. That's for sure. But it's definitely, in positive news, it's better than the Marvels. It's better than the Eternals. might be better than Ant-Man and the Wasp if I could remember what happened. It's definitely better than Ant-Man 2, which I don't remember what happened in that. I know there's a girl who's going to show up again in Thunderbolts. So that's Ghost, by the way. It's definitely going to do better than the Marvels. Here's the other issue, though. From what I understand, and I could be totally wrong, it could do, if I remember, I think they've definitely reshot the heck out of it. I heard the budget was around $300 million, which is outrageous. So even just to break even, it's got to make like $400 million, which it's barely going to do. So this does not speak well for this movie, especially a Captain America movie. Here's the Captain America movie. $65 million opening weekend, earned $370 total. This was like 15 years ago, people, right? And nobody knew what they were like, Captain America. What the hell is that? And everybody talks about it now. It has a cultural imprint, right? Captain America, the Winter Soldier, $95 million opening, earned $714 total. Ain't gonna touch that. And then Captain America Civil War, $179 million, earned $1.1 billion total. See how they were building on something? And this is gonna be way, way, way below that. Let's look at the reviews just to give us some idea here. The audience. So, okay, here's a bizarre one. The critics hate this movie. It's 49%. Yet the fans have it at 80%, which I'm also kind of shocked at. What's the plot? I'll get into that in a minute. But Anthony Mackie capably takes up Cap's mantle and shield, but Brave New World is too routine and overstuffed with uninteresting Easter eggs to feel like a worthy standalone adventure for this new Avengers leader. Where they want him completely untethered to the rest of the world. I just don't think any of it matters. Like, will I care about this after I watched it? Which I currently don't. So what's the plot? The plot is Sam gets brought in for another mission because Sam serves the government. Even though the Avengers didn't serve the government because Falcon didn't get paid, if I remember correctly. So if Falcon's not getting paid, then what the heck's he doing? I guess he's got a job now. So he's like, I got a job. I got to do this stuff. So he recovers some stolen MacGuffin from the Giancarlo Esposito, who is and there's going to be spoilers in this part. Giancarlo Esposito, who is he's a member of the Serpent Society. That's never been set up before. I have no idea what it is. I guess it's just a terrorist organization. I have no idea. Is it connected to Hydra? I have no idea. They don't explain it. Unclear. And he recovers it only for it all to be a setup. The setup turns out to be they supposedly try to assassinate the president. Sam's all concerned about the old Captain America who was in the 70s that you've never heard before. You've never heard of him. I don't remember what the character's name is. Oh, it's Isaiah Bradley. You would only know him if you watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So that's one movie you had to watch. You'd also need to know who Harrison Ford was playing, which is Thunderbolt Ross, who is taking over the role from William Hurt. Harrison Ford, and this is one of my notes, has clearly never watched a Marvel movie and has no idea what Hurts did with that character other than what he was directed to do. Yeah, this Julius Onah director, he's competent, but like the action sequences were not good. And like I said, too many close-ups for no reason. I also want to point out at this point, it's fairly clear that they didn't make it clear in the beginning whether or not Sam had taken super serum or not. But apparently he's just a regular man, but he's also invincible. Just wanted you to know that. Like, he's completely fine every time he fights a bunch of people. He can take on the same amount of men as Captain America could, and he could throw the shield like no human could possibly do. But, with enough practice, you could be Captain America with no super serum. Right? So he gets this MacGuffin back. It's all been a setup because what's been going on? Well, Ross is a jerk. And if you watched the first Hulk movie, you would know that there was a guy who was trying to help Bruce Banner, but he gets infected with Bruce's blood, and that is the leader. Or in this movie, they call him something else. Something Samuel Stearns. And also, there was too many screenwriters, and they were all terrible. So Tim Blake Nelson plays Samuel Stearns, who has been locked in a prison for 10 years or more, maybe 15 years. I think he said 15 years, because that's how long the movies have actually been. And you're supposed to remember that some side character from the first Hulk movie is still alive. And I'll get to this too. The whole thing is just about Betty. They must tell us at least 6 times that Betty is important, which is Thunderbolt Ross's daughter, that he really cares about her. It's all about her. So anyway, there's like this, they're really trying to set up. Now you also have to watch the Eternals, because there's a big island called Celestial Island, which is the dead Celestial sitting in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Everybody wants to go there because, by the way, adamantium is there. Okay, I guess we have now the X-Men. So they all want adamantium, and it's the U.S. fighting the Japanese. I was fairly sure the Japanese didn't have a military like that. Maybe they do. I feel like they have a smaller military, but I'm pretty sure the U.S. would have whooped them in 2 seconds. But either way, they decide to fight each other, sort of, because the leader keeps taking over people's minds. Now, if you didn't know this, the leader seems to be omniscient, because he can see where everybody is at all times. No, that's not one of his powers, and the only power he claims to have is he's super intelligent now because of the Gamma Serum. Anyway, that gets resolved, but that was not his true plan. His true plan, the leader's true plan, is to embarrass Harrison Ford so that he'll be a loser to his daughter, because it's all about Betty. And then he Red Hulks out, and that's the end of the movie. Except Liv Tyler shows up. First she calls, and I was like, oh my God, did they really CGI her voice? And then she doesn't call. She actually shows up in person at the very end. And I was like, they CGI'd her. And I had to Google it, and Google claims she was not CGI'd, even though I still strongly suspect it. So that's the entire story. I have a couple of questions, though, that I wanted to cover. How many movies did you have to see and watch? You had to watch at least 5 or 6 either movies or TV shows to understand what the heck was going on. And can we please stop talking about... Can we forget the Eternals? The Eternals aren't a thing. You're never going to make them a thing. I don't want to hear about that. When did Bucky go to Congress? There's a cameo by Bucky. Why is Bucky in this? Like, I love to see Bucky. Bucky's great. But when did he go to Congress? And if he's a congressman, how does he join the Thunderbolts? Doesn't make any sense, because I literally saw the trailer for the Thunderbolts before this movie. I also want to complain about one more person. There's a big controversy over Sabra, who's the Israeli agent. She's like an Avenger or something from Israel, and there was a whole bunch of protests, so they basically edited out. They kept her in the film, but they edited her out. She was supposed to be part of the Red Room, where they like seduce men and like they're super secret assassins and everything. And just gonna say, she's about 4 feet tall, and I'm not impressed with her ability to beat up anyone or seduce anyone. Just not gonna happen. I think her name is Ruth, and she's clearly the tiniest Avenger, much smaller than Ant-Man is. It's just bizarre that they cast this woman. Shiraha, though, like, why? They never refer to her as Sabra, because obviously they edited that out because they were scared. And the other part of it is she wears a costume in it for one scene and then never again. And there's a whole part where they're like trying to stop, the Red Hulk or whatever, and she's just wearing a regular old clothes. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not important to the movie at all. Not a big deal. So she was really annoying. She was a terrible actress, and she added nothing to the movie and literally didn't help at all. And I also want to point out two last things. There is no way on God's green earth that Sam Wilson beats a Hulk ever. I don't care how much Wakandan nonsense they give him. He's not beating a Hulk. And he's a normal human being. He even says, like, I know you can smash me with one punch. Yeah, he's been smashing you with many punches, and you didn't die. Sam Wilson should have died at least 7 times in this movie, but he didn't, fortunately. But I don't want him to treat Falcon like that, because Falcon is his own character and Falcon is great. I would have watched a Falcon movie. Like, why did he have to become Captain America? Thank you, Tony Easy Coats. Anyway, the other thing is, I thought it would have been, there was barely any humor in this. They took this very seriously. There was like one joke in it, maybe two, and some of the jokes were set up improperly. Like, there's a joke about Bucky having a speechwriter, but you would have had to know that Bucky was running for Congress to know that he had a speechwriter, and they didn't tell you till after they told the joke. And nobody who's watched any of this knows that he's a congressman. So how did that happen? And then I think it would have been really funny if Sam Wilson tried to use the lullaby on Red Hulk. I think that would have been good. And that's it. That's it, folks. I don't know what more I could explain, but it was pretty mediocre. It's not an 80 like the fans say, and it's not a 50. It's definitely one of the best of this worst phase of the movies. Like, maybe they're turning a corner. They had like 6 or 7 screenwriters on this, and they were all terrible because it's not a well-written movie. And there's a lot of plot holes and stuff and weird things that are going on, but it was fine. It just wasn't good. So that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't really enjoy watching the movie, but it was fine, and I'll continue to watch everything else that pops up. So I'll go see them all, and I'll review them for you. But in the meantime, like and subscribe. That really, really helps. If you really like what's going on, we have we have exclusive videos for our members for as little as $1. You can join and get access to those videos. You also get advanced access to many videos as well, including this one. So, do the thing. Catch our live podcast, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday nights. But in the meantime, I guess I'm done with Captain America, and I'm on to the next one.
Thanks for catching the video. Be sure to join our channel to get the education you deserve. Make sure you check out our shorts, live streams, and catch us on all the socials. Don't forget to like and subscribe.